Pisces friends, we are at the top of the mountain giving your message right now, and I'm so grateful for this awareness. I think this really coincides with the message that I just pulled to start this off for you guys. But the mantra for Pisces energy right now is you guys are completing a cycle where you have the awareness that you need now to know that you are no longer in competition for well-being, and perhaps there were partnerships or job spaces or relationships or views on yourself that really promoted this competitive nature, that you had to be more well off than those around you, and therefore it was informing all of the choices you were making. And we know Pisces is the awareness of unity consciousness. So for a Pisces, if it's you, then it's me. What you think is what I think, and what you think of me is what I must be. And so Pisces was really internalizing that. But I think there's a freedom to some of the release that you've had to really let go of recently, Pisces, because it says competition can serve you if it stimulates your desire. But it can be a disadvantage if it hampers your belief in succeeding. And I think that for so long, Pisces, you were so afraid of being caught for what you hadn't found success in yet, and kind of wanting to duck that and whatever. And it says in this unlimited universe, there is no need to compete for well-being, for the resources are unlimited. And I think Pisces has been in this overall general space where the recovery community, like when you're recovering from living the fast life and speeding through and spreading your spiritual awareness of unity consciousness and what that really means to really transcend separation, but at the same time you are here as a Pisces in this flesh to not set up unfair competitions where you are constantly comparing yourself with people who are not Pisces on how to be Pisces. Like, that's what Pisces has been having to really come to terms with, which is like Pisces was like setting up a game, like, okay guys, I'm gonna make a little game that you guys are gonna have an option in whether or not you want to participate in, and it's gonna be called Who Can Be the Best Pisces. And I'm gonna also enter the game, and you're not any of my energy, so I'm gonna test everyone around me on how good they can be me, so that I cannot have to show others how much I don't actually have a belief in my own success, because I still, even if it may seem that I'm showing you all of my life through all of my accomplishments, I still don't really have a lot of the things that would make me reinforce a belief in like success. So in this unlimited universe, there is no need to compete, Pisces. Like, that's so monumental. And I think some of you are really realizing that it says you may perceive a shortage, but it would be of your own making. And I think like you're starting to really sit with the weight of being an energy that walks around in the world in that way, where, you know, you may have been making actions or jumping into relationships, jumping into jobs, jumping into paths that you made or committed to because you were perceiving that there would be a shortage, right? Pisces would be the easiest to like jump on to like crypto or jump. I'm not even just using these examples. Like there may be some, like, I'm just getting a side story of like maybe you started YouTubing or you started vlogging because it's like, you know, you're always perceiving shortage, so you're always like really just floating around looking for the next thing that you need to attach yourself to until you don't need to. And you just, Spirit's trying to alleviate that pacing and that motivation so that your choices can be far more authentic, Pisces. So it's really beautiful that you have made it to this awareness and this completion, because understanding that can make for closer relationships for Pisces, and your wisdom can actually affect the collective. Yes, the collective, I mean, the burden. So here is the card here, the completion, burden, the competition. Let's talk about it. Many times we take on the stress of those we love and care for. Does that sound familiar, Pisces? We see it as the ultimate sacrifice. We take on others' burdens to save them the trouble of heartache. Ironically, the way energy and the universe work makes this a very counterproductive way of operating. When we take on the burdens of others, we deny them the ability to learn and grow from their own lessons. We also interfere with divine planning and timing. Never one to be thwarted, any lessons circumvented will absolutely reappear, sometimes with much more force than what was originally intended. I feel like Pisces was also in an experience where Pisces was trying to create a revolution, was trying to alleviate the weight of a burden that they may have unintentionally or unconsciously solved, but it wasn't but it ended up coming back. Like, I feel like Pisces is realizing like their competition for well-being, or the competition that they set up where people were going to have to fight and force, like, in order to feel well, it created a burden, and I feel like that burden, that return to energy, cinder energy with the Saturn retrograde for Pisces, sent whatever burden, if any, that you were causing others by thinking in this competitive way and having motivations that come from setting up unhealthy competitive environments where people are just like, I'm not trying to do that, I'm just trying to like live and thrive and not be in competition to be Pisces. I'm just trying to be me, and then I want you to be you, but we don't even have to race or do any of that. You see what I mean? So when you try to circumvent a lesson, when Pisces saw that a lesson was coming and was like, oh, let me try to rectify, let me try to do all the right things, let me try to, you're not going to be able to manhandle this burden, because it's justice. If you swung it out, it's coming back, right? So these get really, they tend to reappear, and sometimes with much more force than what was originally intended. So like Pisces was also reconciling with like past competitive behavior, which may have really started lighthearted, but when you get the karma from that, it like hits like a brick, and you're wondering like, wow, like this really uneven, like, oh my god, was totally like a light thing with the friend group, or I totally was like light. I'm feeling like Pisces was coming from a cycle of like light actions leading to heavy consequences. Like I was really just chilling. Damn, dog, now I got a baby. Like, I was just doing what, like, it's like that for Pisces right now. And I feel like you were understanding that the competitive mindset for well-being doesn't really support a conducive space for, like, overall joy over time. So Pisces is really coming out of that and embodying and saying, ask yourself, if you or another is taking on troubles and lessons not belonging to them out of the need to be needed. I think Pisces learned that the hard way. Because the universe said, if you keep begging for somebody else's lessons, I'll give you some lessons of your own. You know what I mean? This stems from the fear that you or they are fundamentally not enough, which also is a toxic cycle, because you guys are trying to make it happen. You're trying to compete with other people. This is like the show don't tell kind of thing with Pisces. I think that some of you are really interested in like projecting a certain image and competing for well-being and like domineering out into space, and maybe people were just like letting you have the throne, like giving you your praise or whatever, but at the end of the day, it doesn't stop the fact that what you were like trying to like get out there and you're like, yeah, like look what I got, bro, like look what I'm doing, I'm Pisces. It doesn't stop that. It doesn't say that the partner or the job or the thing that you're trying to get us to all see you for is not enough. And that's why you're doing all this work in the first place, Pisces, because your partner, your job, your whatever, this thing that you set up with the competitor's mind, it doesn't even serve you well enough. So other people are looking at you and they're like, bitch, you're miserable. You know what I mean? Because your competition really only sets up 5 of Swords, which is a lose-lose, you know what I mean? This is not true. You are created perfect. Your fears and doubts keep you separated from this truth. This is the separation one can feel from Creator. Once you accept and believe you are perfect and worthy, the tendency to make yourself invaluable to others through your help and assistance will go away. So I think, Pisces, you're entering a whole new world where like the conversation is not relevant anymore. Like we don't need like the idolatry, the idols, the being that person, the age of Pisces, right? Like we're not in that age, and Pisces is really having to like, you know, mop it up and like figure it out, because at the end of the day, like all you need to do is believe in your own innate perfection, and then you don't have to like prove how invaluable and how much better people's lives are because you're in it, because you will just know that. It won't have to be an outward projection. It doesn't have to be competitive. You see what I mean? Because you actually feel it. Like a projection of competition or a projection of like pacing and tracking in that way just leads to the acknowledgement and awareness that you have to control that or have to be contributing a certain thing. So your relationships, Pisces, can then be based on truth and not manipulation. And I think Pisces is now realizing that like people can see like if your shit was really just like you manipulating it, because Pisces can do that, right? You're Pisces, you can manipulate whatever, bro. You understand yin and yang, so you can get the outcome you want, you know? You can be the hot girl or whatever, but we can also we'll also just be seeing you for manipulation. That's a lot of cards. We're just gonna want one spirit, so let's see, even though like one energy for Pisces. Thank you. Okay, they still gave us 2. So the bird, we got the burden, and then we literally got the 10 of Wands and the Page of Pentacles, right? Drop showing everybody that you can do the magic trick to just actually have, because you don't actually have that much, right? Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, you're trying to, what's proportionate to what you're trying to show, and then the actual thing you have, like, and that's why you don't feel successful, Pisces. And so you are successful and you can do all these things, but you're putting and wasting so much energy in showing people how valuable you are to them, rather than feeling that own intrinsic value in your own self. So let's see. Wow. And the High Priestess is guiding you through this. Pisces, don't deny that you are the spiritual ascendee. You know what I mean? Like, don't disconnect from spirit. Pisces, you are known for your High Priestess work. Like, that's what you need to really step into, is your intuitive work. When Pisces becomes too of this world, Pisces is just vain, you know? Center of self-perception, and then the Trinity in reverse. Let's see. So it says, also known as the second chakra, this powerful center of energy represents how you see yourself and how you believe others see you. Remember what I just talked about, how Pisces like thinks that whatever other people think of them is what they are? Exactly. You have a solid base of strength from which to operate, a deep sense of self that allows you to move forward even when you aren't sure of the question. Believe in that power, Pisces. Please, please, please believe in that power. And then I'm going to read to you Trinity of Light. Let me see. There is nothing of any kind contrary to the Trinity of Light. This card should be read the same way no matter which way it presents in the spread. Wonderful. When speaking of the light, there are always three parts. We are speaking of the light, with the light, and within the light. Speaking of ourselves in relation to the light is in this way is an irrevocable truth. Beginning anything and ending it as well with the powerful invocation that we are of the light, with the light, and within the light acknowledges the perfection within us. Pisces, you have to recognize your Pisces, our source, and the combination of the two together. This symbol in combination with the Welcome to the Light card is a powerful validation that the light within you is awakening and that your spiritual journey is about to skyrocket into infinite territories. Remember in it all to be light of spirit and unafraid of your journey. You're about to skyrocket, Pisces, because when you get out of this vanity, when Pisces realizes, like, because the age of Pisces was all about it being cool to be like a spiritual god and then like controlling, being the idol, right? Like someone having like a really deep connection to source and then like being idolized for it and separate from other people. But they weren't really doing anything that any of us couldn't do, right? So Pisces is now being open to a whole new journey that's coming in for you, where you are going to unlock spiritual powers that just come from you recognizing the value in who you are before you got the objective of trying to fit into the world system. Pisces, you're here to transcend, and you're here to help us all transcend, so let's do it.